Hello guys, I'm Soda for Life and welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to be predicting the top 30 NBA teams standing wise for next season. So let's get straight into the video. The NBA is a cool place. Every single season there's one team that comes on top. It doesn't matter if it's the 8th seed, the 7th seed, or the 6th seed, as long as you make the playoffs. Here, I'm going to predict what I think the whole league standings will look like next year. Not including records, just teams. So here we go. At number 30, I have the San Antonio Spurs. They just traded away DeJounte Murray, and they really have no company of being good. I also think they're going to go for a lot of injuries, and they don't really have a path forward right now. At number 29, I have the Washington Wizards. After extending Bradley Beal's contract, which I think was a horrible idea, I have them near the bottom of my list. Number 28, the Indiana Pacers. I just feel like after trading Malcolm Brogdon, they're probably not going to be as good. Tyrese Halliburton will be good for them both. So I have him here at 28. At number 27, I have the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, I know. KD or Kyrie haven't been traded yet, but I think this team's chemistry is going to be so bad going into next season. You know, KD might pull a Ben Simmons and not play. I still think KD and Kyrie are going to end up on the same team, but I have them very low on this list. At number 26, I have the Toronto Raptors. You might be wondering why I have him so low. I have Scotty Barnes, and all those players. Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam. I have him this low because of injuries. I just feel that the Toronto Raptors are going to get unlucky next season and have to deal with a bunch of injuries. That's my prediction. At number 25, I have Orlando Magic. After getting the first overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft and drafting Paolo Banchero, I think the Orlando Magic are going to have a bit of an upgrade next season. But I still have them pretty low because they're still young and unexperienced. They still have a bit of a ways to go. At number 24, I have the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings drafted Keegan Murray with the fourth overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft, and I think the Kings, are going to take a step forward in the league. Number 23, I have the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell hasn't been traded yet, but I think Donovan Mitchell, if he gets traded, is going to have some beef with the Jazz, and he's probably not going to want to play at all. And Rudy Gobert is already traded, so the Jazz is just going to be a team of Pat Beverly and Pat Beverly. So, yeah. Number 22, I have the Portland Trailblazers. Damian Lillard is going to have to carry this team on his back, and I think at his age, he's starting to exit his physical prime, so I don't see him doing that too well. But, so I think 22 is a good place to place them. 21, I got the Houston Rockets. Fresh off, the Houston Rockets had a pretty good NBA draft and a pretty good offseason. I have him at 21. I think Jalen Green's going to have a big improvement. At number 20, I have the New York Knicks. They have RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle. They're a pretty good team, but I still have them here at 20. I think that's an appropriate place to place them. At number 19, I have the Detroit Pistons. I'm very high on Detroit. I think the pairing of Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham is very elite. So that's why I put the Pistons right here at 19. Number 18, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City is, fresh off of drafting Chet Holmgren for the second overall pick. They already have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey. We saw how that was last year, even though Josh Giddey got injured. I think Chet Holmgren is going to be a huge update for them. And all their draft picks, with the Jalen Williams and all that. So, yeah, it's going to be very good for OKC. 18 is an appropriate spot. 17, I have the Charlotte Hornets. I know all of this has been going on, the Miles Bridges situation, but honestly, I feel like LaMelo Ball is going to take a bit of an upgrade, in his game. I think he's going to become one of the better point guards in the league and entering the top 5 point guards in the league conversation. So I think 17 is a good place to place them. So, yeah. Number 16, I have the Los Angeles Lakers. I think the Los Angeles Lakers, probably going to be the 8th seed in the Western Conference. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, they haven't made any moves. They haven't traded for Kyrie Irving. I think 16 is just an appropriate place to place them. And number 15, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, they're a pretty good team. I just feel like 15 is an appropriate place to place them. Injuries brought them down last year. I can see that probably happening again next season. So, yeah. And number 14, I have the Philadelphia 76ers with James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid's going to be playing like an MVP. I think he's probably going to be one of the top 3 MVP candidates. James Harden, we saw in the playoffs how he took a little bit of a drop in his game, and ever since he left Houston, he's not really been the same. I think he's officially exited his prime, and his talents are starting to vanish. I think Joel Embiid's going to have a lot of injury problems during the season, but I still think they'll make the playoffs and probably get to like around the second round or maybe even the conference finals. They're going to be a contender, but for most, they're going to look like pretenders, but everyone's going to be sleeping on them. At 13, I have the Atlanta Hawks, fresh off of trading for DeJounte Murray. The Atlanta Hawks are looking really scary. Trae Young, Clint Capella, DeJounte Murray, and John Collins. I only have them at 13 because of how good the Eastern Conference is, and from all these teams forward, I think they're just going to be better than the Hawks. The Hawks may have injury issues too. Number 12, I have the New Orleans Pelicans. I feel like people don't really talk about this team that much. They have an elite defense, a superstar in Zion, and people who can get you buckets at the end of a game, ISO scorers. And I feel like those are the three things you need to win a championship. And they have all three of those. I think they could get to the second round in the Western Conference. So, yeah. At number 11, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves. After trading for Rudy Gobert, the Minnesota Timberwolves are decent. They have Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert. I think Anthony Edwards is going to take a leap to be the best player on the team. He's going to start playing at an all-NBA level. I think he's probably still going to be the best player in the 2020 draft class. He's going to play better than LaMelo Ball. He's going to have the third-year leap that most players tend to experience. At number 10, I have the Phoenix Suns. You know, the Suns are a really established team, really nice after getting DeAndre Ayton back. But I just feel like the Western Conference is getting really good that it's hard to place them higher than this. 9, the Chicago Bulls. Same thing with the Bulls. I think people are really sleeping on how good their team really is. I think they can make it far in the East, maybe to the second or third round. But like for the same reasons as like the Suns, the Eastern Conference is really good. So I think 9 is an appropriate place to place them. At 8, I have the Miami Heat. Now Miami is a pretty talented, team, but they have Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero, Victor Oladipo, you name it. But Jimmy Butler's getting older, starting to exit his physical prime, and I just feel like Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry just can't do the job. Kyle Lowry's getting older too, and he's just going to keep getting older. And again, the Eastern Conference is so stacked, this is just an appropriate place to place them. And here we go into like the really good contenders, I like to call them. At number 7, I have the Los Angeles Clippers. The LA Clippers, obviously, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they're going to have some injuries in the middle of the season, but they could really represent the West. I feel like they're going to get to the Western Conference Finals at least. And they're going to be really good. They're going to be one of the top teams in the Western Conference, and their future's looking really good. And number 6, which might be a surprise to you, the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are a really underrated team. I feel like they should be, probably people should notice how good they are. Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., and that's 5, the Dallas Mavericks. The only word I gotta say is Luka Doncic exists. He's gonna carry this team. At 4, I have the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. They're gonna be a good squad. I have nothing else to say for that. At 3, I have the Boston Celtics. Fresh off of getting Malcolm Brogdon and Danilo Gallinari, the Boston Celtics are gonna be really good if they get Kevin Durant or not. And I think they could definitely represent the East or make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. At 2, I have the Golden State Warriors. Fresh off of winning a championship, they're definitely one of the best teams in the league. And with their youngsters developing, they're going to be really good. Steph, Clay, and Draymond are going to do their job. And at 1, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. The young core, they seem to try the hardest in the regular season. So, those are my top 10. Those are my top 30 NBA teams going into next season, standing-wise. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you like this video and you want more content like this, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. This is my first video, so I'm still working on my editing skills and getting more confident talking. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.